Who's not buying?
Hey everybody, it's Jimmy and Bill. So Bill, we're doing this video. I want to know who's buying, who's not buying, and who's just saying, you know what, I'm just sitting this market out.
Okay.
Okay, here in Florida. Because a lot of stuff has been going on. You know, like right now, for the last few weeks, we've been really, really busy.
Yeah.
Like I've been to the busy enough, you know, because a lot of people ask me for referrals on home inspections. You know, and a lot of people ask for referrals on realtors. And I got so busy that I had to refer out a couple of people, but
Right.
now it's slowing down again. So it's like a seesaw.
Well, it always has been. It always cycles.
Yeah, but I talk to the people we do for flooring.
Yep.
I talk to the electricians. I talk to plumbers because I deal with all of them, and that's why we built this. A lot of people keep asking. They reach out to us and they say, "Hey, you have a good flooring guy? You got a good window guy, or you got a good home inspector or a realtor down to Miami?" So me and Bill decided to build this network of people. I put my contact information below. So if you need help with anything, just give me a call, send me a text, or send an email, and I'll see what I can do to help you out, and Bill will see what he can do to help you out on finding a good realtor. So, okay, who's millennials finally entering the market? Many waited due to high prices, but now they're jumping in, especially in affordable markets. You answer that one. According to this article,
Yes. Depends on their job. Depends on their job. I would say yes. I mean, I don't know. I struggle with this who's entering the market because it's such a wide variety of people. But the people that I've been working with more recently that are coming in, like they're first-time buyers or what have you, even maybe a second home for a transfer or a job like an upgrade, and they're moving into the area. I guess they would qualify as a millennial, but they're making some decent money, and they've been, for the most part, most of them have been single.
okay, how about this one? Wealthy investors and hedge funds, big investors are still snatching up single-family homes for rentals. So I went to a build center, and they used to not do this, but now the build centers are selling to investors, and the investors will buy 4 or 5 homes in a row, and they're doing rent with the option to buy after like 3 or 4
Right.
years. Before, you would never hear about that, but I guess the builders just want to get rid of these houses and they don't want to sit on them. So they're making deals with investors like, all right, we'll give you a good deal if you buy these 5 houses that have been sitting for a while.
Smart.
So you agree with that?
Yep. I think that's smart, actually.
All right. First-time home buyers with help from family. Many young buyers are relying on parents for a down payment.
I think that's always been there, though. I don't think that's anything that's like something new. That's always been around.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think that's all. Parents want to help their kids purchase the first home. It doesn't mean that they're giving you $300,000, but I mean they're contributing to the purchase of your first home.
All right, so instead of going down the whole list of who's buying homes now, let's jump around a little bit and we'll go back to that one. Who's not buying homes? Renters priced out of high interest rates. Many would-be buyers are stuck renting due to unaffordable mortgage payments.
Well, here's the thing with that. So when you're looking at rent versus purchase, what I think the delta is, it's not that they can't afford the monthly payment, because remember, they're paying the rent. The rent median price, depending on where you're at, it's going to be, to be honest with you, right now, at least in our area, a lot of it's almost what a mortgage payment would be. A little bit more money and you're paying for a mortgage, so it almost makes sense. If you can afford that extra $300, $200 a month, you're probably looking at a mortgage payment. However, you also have to make sure that you have enough money for down payment. And then I think the
insurance.
Because remember, that's a neutral, right? Because the homeowner's paying, the landlord is paying the homeowner's insurance, and it's going to be roughly the same price as what you're paying. So that's an equal across the board. But the difference is if something breaks, you're, as the tenant, are not typically paying for it. You also have to have your down payment money. So people are renting. The interest rates.
Do you do property management?
Yeah.
So
we do
basically,
property management.
you run into that a lot.
Yeah, this is why this is all the conversations that I have with the people that are renting from the clients I have. So, they're saving for their down payment. That's what I see a lot of in property management. And same thing with the groups that I'm in.
Middle-class buyers are struggling with affordability. High home prices, student debt is keeping them out. I can see middle class not being able to buy.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, here's another people that aren't buying right now. People waiting for the market to crash. Many are on the sidelines hoping for lower prices, even though the inventory is still tight. It's not tight. Basically, affordable. I always say, like people saying, "Oh, you know what? There's tons of homes for sale," and you know, there's plenty of homes. That's not all the way true because there's plenty of homes for sale. If you go to Zillow or go to Redfin or go wherever, you're going to see a lot of homes for sale. But let's talk about affordable homes. That's the problem. There's very little affordable homes for sale. You agree or disagree?
I agree to an extent, and I think I'm going to add to that.
All right,
Because
go ahead.
what else I see is if I go in and I type $250,000 and I get a giant list of homes for sale, what I think the problem a lot of times is just doing a whole bunch of showings and seeing, for different customers all over. When I go in, I go $250,000, and I'm like, wait a second, why is this home $250,000? This should be a $190,000 house. This should be a $220,000 house. I still see the houses priced a little bit too high, and that's why they're sitting on the market. So there's affordable homes, and then there's homes that are in, let's just say they need some love. They're going to need paint, carpet, some updated fixtures, bathrooms, things like that. Those are all things that are going to affect the value of your house, and you're not going to get top dollar like the guy or gal down the street got top dollar that remodeled their house even 5-10 years ago. Your house hasn't been remodeled in 30 years. It's the same stuff from the 30 years ago. You're not going to get as much money, and it's going to sit for a little bit longer.
That's true. All right, let's jump to who is selling. Boomers cashing out for retirement. Many are selling high and moving into smaller homes and retirement communities. True or false?
Yeah, that's true. They're moving it, especially these retirement communities or 55 up communities. Active adult communities is what they're popularly called now, because they've got people are similar age, similar interests. They've got activities. They've got activity directors. Some of these communities, they're amazing. Pools, restaurants, golf carts, easy shopping. Everything's right there. They don't have to go too far. It's very comfortable and easy living. And it makes sense.
Homeowners facing financial struggles. Some are selling due to job loss, divorce, or economic uncertainty. That's,
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's true, especially with everything that's going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, selling, you got the D's,
So we agree
death,
with that one.
divorce, yeah, all that stuff. That's normal stuff.
Investors are offloading rental properties with high rates and softened rent prices. Some landlords are selling their properties.
That's true.
That is true.
Yeah, that's true. And when we say investors, there's always this big misnomer. Yes, if you purchase a home and it's your second home, that's an investment property. But when we're saying like investment companies, we're not talking you own 2-3 units, 2 or 3 doors, 4 doors. We're talking big corporations. That's what they're offloading things. Because there is when you own a whole bunch of properties, there's that part of the bell curve where if you get to this one so many doors, you start losing money because you're not making enough money to pay for the infrastructure, meaning the extra maintenance staff, things like that, and repairs. You have to have so many more to bring your money back. So you can get too many houses. That's why we're talking difference between corporate versus, the mom and pop rentals, which are important, which most people are.
Let's go back to who's buying again, okay? So we have a little mixture of everything. In the meantime, do me a favor, if you like this kind of content, consider subscribing. We put a lot of research into these videos, and it's greatly appreciated. Give it a thumbs up and share, and greatly appreciate it. Remote workers moving to affordable cities. Work from home trends are driving buyers to places like Texas, Florida, and Tennessee. You think that's still happening?
No.
I don't think that's happening either.
No, I think there's still people who work from home, but the specific trend, because I see the trend happening of people having to go back into the office now, or a 50-50 split.
All right, retirees downsizing or relocating. Many boomers are cashing out and moving to states with lower taxes and better weather.
I would agree with that.
Okay, so they're buying. They're buyers.
Yep. Because remember, the boomers, why are they buying? Let's get it more than just, why would they buy? Because they have the cash. They've sold their house that they've been in for, and most of them don't have mortgages. Remember, just under 50% of the country does not have a mortgage on their house.
Yeah, that's so hard to believe.
But it's true. So it's like, it doesn't fit the narrative of a doomsday video, but that's the truth. And the boomers have been in their houses for a long time, so interest rates are irrelevant to them because they're paying cash.
Interesting. High-income professionals in strong job markets, tech workers, doctors, lawyers are still buying despite high interest rates. That's true, because I'm doing 1.2. I mean, in the last few houses I've done, they're over $1 million.
Yeah, even not that high, but like I said, the people with the higher paying jobs or they've got more tenure in their job, they've got a higher salary because they have tenure, they've got experience, and that's who's buying houses right now.
I don't think this one is true anymore. Maybe it was true a few days ago, but not now. Foreign buyers are targeting U.S. real estate. Investors from Canada, China, Latin America are purchasing a home, especially in Florida and California. I think those days are over with for now.
We'll see.
Listen, I just did a home.
It'll come back.
It'll come back. But I did a inspection for a Canadian, and he told me something. He said, "Yeah, now I got to register if I'm here for over 30 days." As a snowbird. Before they had a few months,
right?
But now it's every 30 days. I didn't know that.
They have to register every 30 days, or if they're going to be here more than 30 days.
If they're going to be there more than 30 days, that's what he told me.
Yeah, a lot of countries are like that, though. So we're kind of adopting. It's foreign to us, but if you've ever traveled for any length of time, that's pretty normal across the board. Because when I used to travel for the air ambulance, we would have to get visas, temporary visas, to go into a lot of places, and it was the 30-day mark. We didn't have to pay because we were never there for more than 30 days.
Home buyers taking advantages of rate buy downs. Some are jumping into thanks to builders' incentives and mortgage buy downs. Builders are pushing a lot of people buying.
Oh yeah, yeah. They've got the leverage too because they have the deeper pockets and they buy more in volume.
People are moving from high tax states, California, New York, and Illinois. Residents are fleeing to states with no income tax. That's true.
Yeah, 100%.
Didn't one state just now? I forgot which one it was. If you guys know, do me a favor, comment below. I forgot. It was a southern state. They just voted to get rid of their income tax. I'm not sure what state.
Interesting. Oh, I'm gonna have to look that up for sure. Yeah, let us know which one that is. That'd be an interesting read.
Buyers are looking for multi-generation home. More families are pooling resources to buy homes together. That's true.
100%.
That's 100% true. Okay. Buyers. Here's people. We're gonna go back to who's not buying. Okay. Buyers with low credit scores. Higher mortgage rates means lenders are rejecting more applications with lower scores. We know that for a fact.
That's 100%. Listen, if you're buying a house, please, you have absolutely got to understand there's a difference between a pre-authorization and a pre-approval letter. And make sure that you've had your credit run, that that it's not stated your income and all that. Make sure it's a legitimate run so you have a real loan. The last thing that you want to do is to fall in love with a house, buy a house, or list your house and sell your house, and then figure out that you didn't quite do everything that you needed to do, and then something popped up on your credit report that you didn't know about, and now you're kind of in a bind.
Here's other people that aren't buying right now. Those who bought in 2020, 21 at low rates, many are locked into ultra-low mortgage rates and won't move unless necessary needed. What do you think? True, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to move. If you have to move, you're going to move. It doesn't matter what your interest rate is, But, people, I don't see people going, oh, I'm just going to move because I want to. It's usually for something, because a lot of people, like I have a customer now that is moving here because he got a better job. Mm-hmm. So he's giving up his 2.5% interest rate, and trading it in for the mid-6s because he got a better job and it's just worth the money.
Young professionals in expensive cities, high-cost places like New York, San Francisco are making home ownership unrealistic for many. I
can only imagine that would be the way it is. Obviously we're not out there, but that makes sense because it is expensive.
Yeah, I mean that's there's a pool of people that are buying. There's a pool of people that are selling. There's a pool of people that are just
Sitting on the sideline. There's always that, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, but I think sitting on the sidelines is going to become bigger and bigger right now, for the next, at least until the next.
Well, I mean, let's just look at the way things have changed in general. Information is so much more readily available right now, good and bad. You know, it depends. So people can make it's a good thing because people can make more of an informed decision. All I would suggest is that I feel like too many people go into the buy-sell thing way too haphazardly, and they really need to understand and have that consultation and sit down and understand what they're getting into. And it's not just everybody wants to dive right into just shopping for the house because that's the fun part. But you have to really understand what goes into what's going to be purchasing the house, your insurance, your taxes, all of those things, and making sure that you can afford those things before you dive in. It's important. And you should really have that consultation. And you may have to wait a little bit, or you might be saying, hey, I'm going to wait a year, but getting in early is not bad to talk to, a real estate professional and really help you understand what you can and can't do so that you can make informed decisions.
No, that's true.
I just see too many people diving in the opposite direction, and then they fall in love with something and then they realize they can't do it, and it's sad.
I guess on this video too, I'll put out a survey. If you're buying, or you're waiting, we'll see what the survey does, because we'll hear from you guys. Comment below, tell us what you guys think, if it's a good time to buy or sit it out, or is it a good time to sell. Your feedback is extremely important.
And why?
And why?
Yeah, because I think it's just to say, oh, it's good, it's bad, it's indifferent. It depends on what you're at. Where you're at in life. So why is very important.
Yeah, and consider subscribing. It really helps that channel. I know I bring it up all the time, but it's very motivational, and a lot of work goes into these videos. And like I said before, everybody keeps asking for referrals for inspectors or realtors or plumbers or electricians. I put my contact information below. Go ahead, give me a call, send me a text, and I'll speak to you soon. Watch this video here. Picked it out just for you guys, and have a great day.
See you on the next video. Thanks.